How are we all doing? Hope you're all well. Thanks for tuning in and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is just going to be a painting video. It's going to be a little bit different again. It's a two-tone job to do, so I'll give you a quick look at the car. It's all been repaired. It's actually a friend of mine's car. It's his daughter's car, and he done the repair, and I'm just painting it for him. So it's a little Vauxhall Corsa, a little limited edition Vauxhall Corsa, and it's yellow, so straight yellow, and it's got a metallic black roof. So it had damage through here and on the pillar, and some damage on the boot. So yeah, I'm going to do it all in Waterbase base coat. The yellow as well as obviously the metallic black has to be done in base coat. So yeah, I've primed it in white, which white isn't ideal on the black, but definitely need white on the yellow. So I've done it all in white, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint both colours, separate them, paint them both, and then obviously clear coat it all together. So it doesn't really matter which way round I go, which one I do first, because either side has got to be masked off individually anyway. So I'm going to do the yellow first. So I'll get it all degreased and blown off and stuff. Then I'll mask the roof off. I'll do the yellow, get all the yellow base coat on there. Once that's dry enough, because it will need to be pretty dry to put some tape on it, I'll then mask off the quarter panel and the tailgate. So yeah, the roof's sapphire black it is, which I thought it was, and I don't know if any of you other painters out there. Sapphire black's always been a bit of a pain in the butt colour on Vauxhalls. There's a few systems that I've done it on, loads of shades of it. On Mipa there's about 15 shades of it, and yeah, never looks quite right. So we're going for like a redder shade on the roof. It didn't look too bad on the colour chip, so we're going for that. And the yellow looks pretty decent on the colour chip, so we're just doing standard shade on that. I have spectroed them both, but I'm just going to go for those shades. So yeah, I'm going to have a bit of room to blend. I'm going to blend in this tailgate. I'm going to be blending obviously up here, just clear coating the quarter. So yeah, that's it. It's going to be Mipa water as usual, and Mipa CX2 clear coat. So I'm going to get it all blown off, tacked off, and then get that roof masked off, get the yellow on, and then do the black on the roof. So yeah, that being said, I'll get all set up and get some paint on it. Hello YouTubes, how are we all doing? This job was a little bit different. Made a bit of a nice change to do a two-tone. I haven't done any two-tone since I've been on Mipa, so I haven't had the opportunity to try masking tape on the base coat. They do recommend putting the hardener in if you're going to mask on it, but I didn't on this job. And yeah, I quite enjoyed it, to be honest with you. It was something a little bit different. It's quite satisfying doing two different colours, and when you clear coat them together, well, I find it quite satisfying, the end result when it comes out well. So yellows are they're probably most painters, they're not the painter's favourite colour to do. Quite a few water-based systems that I've used, the yellows are really transparent. I find as well the yellow tinters sit on your scheme for quite a while because it's not a very common colour. So any bits of yellow that you might use on your paint system, you only use small amounts in mixes. So I find the tinters can be a bit transparent and can go a bit watery for being old, unless you obviously put new tinters in. So yeah, normally really transparent. Normally you can't get away with anything apart from really light grey or white primer on yellow. But I've done a handful of yellow cars with Mipa, and the coverage is decent. It's not going to cover as well as your normal two coat colours would cover, but it covers pretty well. So I do change my procedure on colours like this where they're a bit transparent. Like I say, they do recommend, if you've got transparent colours and the 3-stage pearl colours and stuff like that, if you've got ground coats to put on, they recommend putting a hardener in it. And I've used a hardener in the base coat. It just guarantees that any layers underneath will cure, even if they're not fully dried out. But I haven't had any issues, so I have stopped using it because it does change the way the base coat lays down. So yeah, the procedure on this, normally I do the half coat, which is what they recommend, and then they either recommend 2 single coats, or you can sort of double head the coat as your coverage coat, give you full coverage. But where I know this will need an extra coat, and even on colours that I know, I can see that they are covered, when I know they're transparent, I'm going to give them an extra one anyway, just for peace of mind. So first coat is a half coat, which I've just done, dry that out, and then instead of doing the double coat, which I would normally do now, I do one more single coat, and coverage looks pretty good even after that, that second coat. So it was only a half coat before this coat was going on. Coverage is pretty good already, I think, especially for yellow. I did have to put some light grey primer on some breakthroughs, and that was showing through a bit more, obviously being on the white primer as well. So this second coat, I dry this one out fully again, like I do the half coat. Instead of what I normally do is put it on the bake cycle, I just turn the temperature up in the booth, keep it on the spray mode, and just turn the temperature up to 35 degrees, and then dry that coat out, and then I can quickly cool it down then without flicking between bake and spray cycles. And then after I've dried this coat out, so that's a half coat, one coat dried fully out, then I do my double coat, and the coverage is there. So with the temperature getting a bit warmer now, I'll get the A&I blower, put it on the medium heat setting, and get that first full coat dried out, and then now onto the second coat, which I do as a double coat. 2-bar pressure like normal. And just getting all my coverage in that channel where that moulding sits. You can sort of see the back of that from the other side of the roof. So yeah, just being over cautious, make sure I get enough colour in there. Even though there's a trim in there, you do see the back edge of it, and the repair went into there. So now the double coat application, probably would have got away with just one coat on there, but just want to make sure there's nothing showing through. It's okay if everything is white, but if you've got any little breakthroughs and anything like that, they could show through. So I always find transparent colours, if I think it's covered, I give it one more for luck. That's what I do. Just flicking a bit, sort of bit further along, so sort of some sort of missing paint in between that glass and the tailgate. So just getting a bit of coverage over that, and trying not to get anything edge to edge to the quarter the other side. and then just blend it out with the solid colours. You obviously don't do no drop coat, so yeah, do all your flicking out in your last coat, you know, while it's all wet, so you've got your coverage and all your blending out all done at the same time. So now it's all dried out. I've masked it up, so I've masked off all the yellow part of the car now and exposed the roof. Just left the white primer on there. I was thinking about putting some black wet and wet on, but if it was a white car, they do this model of car in white with the same combination white with the metallic black roof, and they paint straight over the white roof, and black will go over it. It's not a problem. If it was a bumper or something that would get stone chipped, then I would put black undercoat on it, because obviously stone chips would show through really brightly if it had a white undercoat. And yeah, I'm using an older gun. I'm using a Satajet 5000. It's a HVLP, so Satajet 5000 HVLP, and that's got a 1.3 setup on it. And just making sure I get enough colour in that channel. And yeah, just turn down the size of my fan, so I make sure I can get it in there without loading too much in areas that I don't want it, and just feathering in the base coat, so I know it's definitely covered in there. And yeah, halfway through this job, I thought I'm just gonna blend out the base coat on the roof, and there was a couple of small little chips, and in the end I ended up base coating all of it in the end. So yeah, there was a little bit across the front, a couple of stone chips. I thought I'd just blow them in, and then it starts getting a bit untidy. There was nothing edge to edge that colour had to match, and the colour chip was pretty close, so yeah, I ended up basing up the whole roof. So even on that half coat there, I know it's black, but the coverage is you know, it's 3/4 of the way there already, to be honest with you. And then using the A&I blower, that's my procedure now. I do the first coat of drying off, I use the A&I, because I don't need to turn the temperature up in the booth to do it. I can get a little bit more heat out of that A&I blower, so I use that as my drying gun for the first coat, for the half coat, and then on my coverage coat, so the second coat, if it's a double coat, then like I've said before, I stick the booth on a bake cycle at 45 degrees, and I use the Satajet one. So it's pretty much my procedure now. We're all different, and we all have a different routine of applying water-based coat. That's the thing with water-based coat compared to solvent, is you've got to have a routine, because you've got to have a drying routine involved with it, and a temperature adjustment routine as well. You know, if you're doing it in a booth, some you can put on a full bake cycle and just bake it and not blow it. But the way I do it now, it seems to work for me. And the issues that I did have with this system, with the base coat not drying properly, I haven't had it since. So the combination of the two blow dryers that I use, and the way I use the bake cycle and spray cycle with different temperatures, I find this to be the most efficient way for me, most efficient on energy and time as well. So like I say, if I'm not going to change the temperature in the booth, I'm going to leave it on my spray temperature, which is the low 20s. A normal blow dryer, just using the heat from the booth to dry it, especially with a double coat on there, you're going to be there for a long time trying to dry that out. So the temperature needs to go up. So that's why I do the double coat, really, is so I know I've got all the coverage. I don't need to be doing any more spraying apart from drop coat. So then I get it on the bake cycle then, and then getting the temperature up and using the you know, using the Satajet blower, I can dry it out really quick and get it really, you know, get it dehydrated. That's what you need to do. You need to get the water-based coat dehydrated. You need that moisture out of there, and then, you know, depending on your climate and the, you know, the temperature of the day and the humidity of that day, it's going to affect your drying times without a doubt, and it really does. I can notice it on a dry, you know, nice warm day. Base coat dries really well, and if it's a damp day as well, with my booth, you know, the front of my booth, my garage that my booth's in is not far off being outside, so I've got the humidity, you know, the damp air outside, and that's going to affect the drying of my base coat. So yeah, that's what I do. I dry the first coat off with that A&I dryer, because I don't need to change the temperature and I'm not drying out a thick film build. And then for the second coat, I get it on a bake cycle, get some heat in there, get the Sata dryer, and I can dry it out reasonably quick, and it works, and it dries it out properly. It really removes the moisture out of it. That Satajet blower, I know they all look the same or they all look similar, but it's not like any other blow dryer I've used before. I've used the cheap ones. I've got the old Sata one, and that Air Dry 2. I know I bang on about Sata, and I'm not just saying it because I love Sata. It makes a difference. It really does. It does really get the moisture out of the base coat, and this system is critical to do that. If you get the moisture out of the base coat, you don't have any issues with it. That's the only issue I had with this system when I first started using it, is I was thinking the base coat was dry. It looked dry, and it wasn't, and it was causing me problems. It was causing me dieback. I had a couple of jobs come back from it, a couple of jobs that didn't even go out because they died back on me, and it's really sensitive to it. So yeah, I think as well, people that have got this system and they're near the coast, they're having issues with it, I think. But I think that Sata Air Dry 2 blow dryer is essential for this. It's what solved the problem for me anyway, without doubt. Not because it's Sata, because it works. So we're on to a clear coat now. Mipa CX2 was a clear coat I used on this job, and I got the CC gun out for this one, and yeah, been flicking between both guns, to be honest with you. I do like both of them. I'd probably say my 1.20 setup is my favourite, but yeah, I sort of, with the CC gun, I was getting you know, results that I was pleased with, and then it was, I don't know, I sort of went off it for a bit. I wasn't getting the results that I wanted, but yeah, so if it's not giving me the results that I want, I'm not going to give up on it. I'm going to see where I'm going wrong with it, and keep using it until I get the results I want for it. You know, try and hone in you know, the differences, and make adjustments for it, and then practice with it. That's, you know, that's what you got to do. You got to practice. Don't just pick a gun up and it gives you flawless results every time. It's I've got to play about with stuff and practice, and see the mistakes. You know, they might not be mistakes to some people, but I look at, you know, when you're doing painting the job yourself, you look at it probably in a different way. I'm always going to look at it with a critical eye. All of my jobs, everything that I do, all I look at is what bits I weren't happy with, really. I'm my own worst enemy, really. And I'll be totally honest with you, I don't think I've ever been 100% happy with a job. There's always something where I think, oh, I should have done that, or oh, I shouldn't have done that. And yeah, so yeah, I like to keep striving to you know, to get the best results that I can, you know. And sometimes it can be a bit of a negative, because if it starts affecting my my head where I get disappointed or I start beating myself up over silly mistakes and I know I shouldn't do it, yeah, then it can start affecting me. But I'm always trying to improve. I'm always trying to be on my guard and just always trying to, you know, get the best jobs I can, you know. I may have said in the past on a video before that I don't look at what the car's worth or even what the customer's paying. When that spray gun's in my hand, it doesn't matter the condition of the rest of the car, I still want that clear coat to look right. And sometimes it's, you know, I find some of the jobs where, you know, some jobs the customer's expectations are not that high, and they say to you beforehand, you know, it doesn't matter if it's not quite perfect and all the rest of it. And normally when that happens, I do a job I'm really happy with, and then the opposite happens when I know, you know, the customer's expectations are high. They want a really good job. I want them to have a really good job. And I suppose it's the pressure in it. It's got to be the pressure that you probably put on yourself and the bit of pressure maybe from the customer a little bit. And sometimes less is more. You over try and probably, you know, make mistakes because of that. But when the pressure's off, I've done it before. I used to do work he was a lovely bloke, been in the town for years, and he owns loads of taxis and he rents out taxis, and he could go down the road and get jobs a lot cheaper than what I would do them for, but I had a good working relationship with him, and I used to do his taxis, and you know, they weren't in the best condition, and some of the jobs I'd do on them, I'd be like, they'd be out the gun, and I'd be like, why couldn't this happen on such and such job? But yeah, I'd still do the same on the battered old taxis, but there we go. So on to the final coat, clear coat now. You may notice, I don't know if you may notice, the camera angle looks a little bit higher than normal. I'm back on to my air fed mask. Actually, it's been on my mind for a while since I started doing videos. To wear the head cam, I've got an air fed mask and used to wear it for top coat, all the 2K and clear coat top coats and stuff, but I can obviously put the head cam on, so I've been using my cartridge mask, and I've got a bit of a beard which doesn't help with the cartridge mask sealing, and yeah, always can smell a bit of top coat through it. I think they're fine for Waterbase, they're fine for organic vapor, the cartridge masks, you know, like the 3M1s or whatever, but they're not good for the solvent, you know, the 2-pack and that. They don't recommend you use it for, you know, especially on a job like this. I'm doing a roof, my head's at that level, I've got all the overspray flying back at me, and yeah, it was someone commented about it, and I'm so glad they did, because it kicked my ass into gear to figure out a way to be able to record from my head but still wear my air fed, and as well, getting in your eyes as well, it's not good, it's horrible stuff, and there's some nasty chemicals in this job. So yeah, I got a motorcycle helmet mount for the GoPro, and I had to cut a little section out. There's like a Velcro apron on the respirator. My respirator's well, you won't believe this, but it's a Sata one, but I managed to mount it on the front and stick it to the front, and yeah, now I'm back on my air fed. I needed to get my air tested as well, because you know, there's no point having an air fed on if the air you're breathing in out of your compressor is just as harmful, if not more harmful, than the overspray. So I got my air tested, that was good. I've got a head mounted a helmet mount for the GoPro camera, managed to stick it on the visor, and it works. So yeah, this is the first job that I filmed using my airfed, and it's so much better. It really is. It's been about a year now, obviously, where I've been filming jobs and wearing a cartridge mask. So whoever that was that commented about wearing an airfed, thank you for doing that, because it just jogged my memory. It's something that's been on my mind, but you put it to the back of your mind, and I found a solution to it. So yeah, thanks whoever that was that commented about that. Thank you. So I'm just getting to the end of the clear coat on this, and looked at my gun, didn't mix enough clear coat. I've been doing that quite a lot lately, running out of paint halfway through a job. Sometimes you get it bang on, and I hate it being over. So just trying to obviously keep the costs down. But yeah, I knew I had enough to do the roof, but probably not enough to get run the rest of it. So yeah, make sure get all the roof done without having to stop and put some more clear in. So yeah, you can see in there there's definitely not enough to do that. I find as well, if you do run out, if you're trying to be frugal with your materials but you do run out, you end up using more than when you would have just mixed a little bit extra anyway. So just making sure I've got all the clear coat laid down across the roof. I don't really want to be going back over the roof if there's a little break in between me spraying, getting all that back edge, making sure I get that back edge. That was awkward to get to. I did think about shooting it from the other side, turning the gun onto jet and shooting it from the other side, but I didn't want me misjudging it or whatever. So I thought I've got enough clear here to get across the roof, get down the pillar and find a small place to join back up when I come back in, to get the pillar done, and then come halfway down that pillar, and there's obviously a little small area there at the bottom of the window, and I'll have to go and mix some more up there and can carry on from there. It's a small little place where I can overlap again if it starts drying a little bit on me. With these quick dry clears like this CX2, they don't like being gone back over. They're quick dry, aren't they? So they're on the way to drying, quite soon after application. Obviously for the speed of drying, where some of the slower clears and your standard clears have got a bigger open window. Because I do find sometimes with the CX2 you get like a little bit of bounce back as well. If you go back over something, it's obviously starting to go off already. You can see my camera's pointing up in the air now. But yeah, if you go over something that you may go back to a minute or two later, you get a little bit of bounce back sometimes, where your overspray bounces into your semi-wet clear coat and can cause it looks like tiny little fish eyes. I have noticed that. I don't know if that's a technical term, bounce back, but that's what I call it. If you got a bit of overspray going back over your clear, it doesn't like it, this clear coat. So yeah, got a bit more clear in the gun, got too much now by the looks of it, and just finishing off clearing the rest of it. So yeah, that's it. Now I'm going to sign off, let you watch the rest of it, and thanks for watching, really appreciate it, and we'll see you again in the next one. Look after yourselves. Cheers.